Hello and welcome back to the 49ers First and 10 podcast. 10 minutes of the most up-to-date 49ers news first thing in the morning. I'm your host, Brianna McDonald. Joining me is 49ers team reporter, Lindsay Polares. The team has just wrapped up mandatory minicamp practices and are taking a little break away from football before training camp gets started in late July. Today, Lindsay and I are going to bring you all of the latest updates from the final phases of OTAs and a couple exciting announcements on specifically our guy, CMC. Lindsay, these past 2 weeks must have been amazing for Christian McCaffrey. His birthday was last Friday. He turned 28. 3 days before he signed a contract extension with San Francisco. And just yesterday, it was announced that he is going to be gracing the newest cover of Madden. He is just living his best life right now. First off, let's talk about his contract extension. What are the details and what do the faithful need to know?
Well, good news, faithful. Christian McCaffrey is in the Bay for a long time. He's been signed through to a 2-year extension. It'll keep him here through the 2027 season. This is a wonderful thing for San Francisco. And like you mentioned, it's been a lot of really big life milestones for CMC lately. You go back to as early as, late in the 2023 season, he was named the NFL reigning offensive player of the year. He has now gotten his contract extension. And then yesterday we found out he is the Madden 25 cover athlete. So a lot of wonderful accolades and very well deserved. Christian McCaffrey closed out the 2023 season as, he was named the best offensive player in football. He was the Triple Crowns winner in 2023, and really his impact has been immediate since coming to the 49ers in week 7 of the 2022 season. We saw it in his first full game that he, threw a touchdown pass, caught a touchdown pass, ran in a touchdown. And he's really just had this tremendous amount of production throughout the course of his season and a half. It feels like he's been here longer. So very well deserved. And yeah, kudos to Christian McCaffrey. A lot of really good things coming his way.
Yeah, we all know that McCaffrey's stats since entering the league are very impressive. He ranks among the top running backs in various categories. But now with his extension, how do you see his role evolving with the 49ers offense in these next few years?
I think Christian McCaffrey is so much more than his stats, right? He is the best offensive player in football, but what we hear a lot of head coach Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, his teammates, his friends on the team, that Christian McCaffrey is just one of the hardest workers in football as well. And it's great because he's also this elite player, and that crossover, I feel like, just creates greatness, right? You've got a really, really hard worker, naturally talented, works super hard. It's all the things you want to see in one of your leaders in the locker room. And I do think, that on the field impact was really immediate, but I do think that Christian McCaffrey's presence has been felt in the 49ers locker room almost immediately as well. He sets the bar for the type of work ethic that you want. And his training style has been described almost as like obsessive, very methodical. And like, I say that in a really positive way because you want a player that's going to put that much attention into his fitness, his, studying, his attention to detail, all of that. So really just setting the standard, raising the bar in the 49ers locker room, which is already so tremendously high. So I know that, Kyle Shanahan's offense evolves year to year. I know that Christian McCaffrey is going to be a part of that for years to come, at least through 2027. So be prepared, Faithful. I think we're going to see a lot of exciting things on the field.
Yeah, and that hard work comes with another huge accomplishment. McCaffrey has been selected as the Madden 25 cover athlete, a significant honor in the NFL world. Lindsay, tell us about how you think this recognition reflects his impact not only on the field, but also within pop culture and how all of the league's fans see CMC.
Yeah, I think CMC is very well known as just one of football's best players and also a fan favorite. I know that the faithful are certainly very high on CMC. I think to be a Madden cover athlete is a huge, huge honor. And then you tie in the kind of nostalgia factor to it that a lot of these players, I mean, just a lot of kids in general grow up playing Madden, and a lot of people reference it as how they really learned the intricacies of football. Just to put the honor more into perspective, he's the first 49ers player to be on the cover of Madden since Garrison Hurst, who was on the international cover in 1999. So it's been 25 years. Huge, huge honor. Another congratulations to CMC. I mean, I think for him, it's also a really big deal. I've seen some reactions and quotes on social media. So he's certainly elated to be Madden 25's cover athlete.
Simply amazing. Congratulations to Christian McCaffrey. He was also in the building for the last few days of OTAs. Lindsay, what were some of your biggest takeaways from this year's mandatory minicamp?
Well, I think we got to start with the CMC contract extension. That certainly was, I think, arguably the biggest headline of the 49ers mandatory minicamp. But just we got a lot of, over the course of OTAs and minicamp, just a lot of injury updates. And we got to hear from players that we really haven't talked to since they either went down during the 2023 season or since the conclusion of the 2023 season. One of those people that I want to highlight is cornerback Charvarius Ward. He's one of two players. He and George Kittle both had core muscle surgery in the offseason. They've both been around, and Charvarius Ward finally checked in and talked a little bit about what his recovery process is looking like. He says he's feeling good. It sounds like this core muscle injury was something lingering from several years back, predates the 49ers. And he said that just the grind of football season just started wearing that injury down even more. And so he had to get it taken care of. It sounds like it was like a 4-year-old injury, but he is expecting to be back for the start of training camp. That's similar to what we heard from George Kittle, again, who had a very similar surgery. We also got to hear from wide receiver Deebo Samuel. He's been around since phase 3 of the offseason workout program. Just, he said that this has become a really vital part of his offseason routine to be here, be with the team. He's got a chance to look at those rookie receivers that include wide receiver Ricky Pearsall and also Jacob Cowing, who was a 4th-round selection. He said Jacob Cowing is a really speedy guy, and then you have Pearsall, who's got great hands, is fitting in really well. And then we heard a little bit about a new tight end addition, free agent Logan Thomas. He was brought into a fairly young tight end room that obviously headed up by George Kittle, but it's got a lot of young guys looking to make a name for themselves in the league. So we got a little bit of everything during mandatory minicamp.
Definitely. We also got to hear from safety Talanoa Hufanga for the first time in a while. Can you provide us some more insight into Huff's current rehabilitation process and how the team is supporting him in his recovery?
We got to hear for the first time from safety Talanoa Hufanga, who actually suffered a season ACL injury in week 11 of the 2023 season. And for him, during this recovery process, he's obviously been doing all the necessary rehab to get back. But for him, he's taken a very mental approach to his recovery process, because right now he obviously can't be on the field fully participating. He was doing rehab work and on the sidelines of mandatory minicamp, but he says he probably thinks in terms of watching tape, he's second to none, because he just wants to stay mentally ready. And what physical reps he can't take on the field, he's taking those mental reps now so that when he actually is able to get on the field, feels like second nature. One of the things that I really appreciated about his press conference is that he says he is looking to remain a starter for the 49ers. He wants to keep that competitive edge and isn't just assuming that he's just going to jump back in. He is a competitive guy, wants to make sure he earns that spot. He's spending time with second-year safety Jair Brown. I think one of the cool things they were able to do during this mandatory minicamp was chop it up with general manager John Lynch, who is a Hall of Fame safety, certainly somebody whose brain you want to pick just about the game of football, super knowledgeable. The timeline for Huff is looking good. His goal is to be ready for week 1 of the regular season. It's possible that he starts filtering in during training camp, but again, all of that super up in the air, especially when you're coming back from a pretty serious injury.
Well, Faithful, That will do it for today. Follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to be in the know on all of the latest official 49ers news. Also, turn on the notifications for any breaking news, move the chains updates, and thank you for tuning in.